packing up this watch that one of my clients locally here bought. It's a 5712 on full bracelet. Actually, you want to come with me to go deliver this?
Absolutely.
All right, let's do it. So I'm gonna go over there, have my little tools with me. These are not the easiest to size, but he's been trying to make it all week. He's been trying to make it actually for 2 weeks to come pick up his new watch. He's just so swamped at work. So he's like, Andrew, I'm so sorry, but my week has literally blown up on me. I won't be able to make it there this week. I'm really excited about the watch. Would you do me a huge favor and bring the watch to my house? So I told him, absolutely. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go size it for him and deliver this watch. Let's go. You wearing
the coat?
Yeah, you haven't taken that off in a couple weeks.
No, I think that's why it hasn't sold.
Well, I'm wearing a 15510 2023. It's in immaculate shape. I'm only wearing it today just because we were filming today. So, and I'm gonna go see Jonathan. Obviously, don't mess with Texas. As you guys know, we always are armed up, ready to go. I know some of you overseas people are not gonna like this, but you know what? We live in Texas and this is how we do it out here. Trijicon ACOG. We've got Modellite here with a trigger for the light. Stay on, stay off. We've got the telescoping brace. This is a B&T SPC9.
Hey Mike, how are you, sir?
Hey, I'm good. How about you, sir?
I'm doing good, thank you. So I have some options for you for the Batman on the Jubilee bracelet. I know you were asking for something just slightly pre-owned, maybe new. And so for brand new, I could get you a 2024 brand new full set, unworn, possibly even within the month or last month or two. And that would be 18.5.
What surprised me, I guess, was the spread between the MSRP. I'm on a list right now, and I'm just trying to debate whether or not it's worth it for me to just wait rather than pay the premium on it.
Right. So what a lot of people, I don't know how long you've been on the list for, but this is what I've heard a lot of my clients do. Instead of waiting for the list, because they'll tell me like, hey, I got on a list 6 months ago. They're telling me it's still going to be at least another 6 months out. Like, I'm tired of all this waiting. So they just go ahead and buy one. And then once they do get the new one, they'll either sell that one back, or they'll trade it in for something else, or they'll use the new one. And sometimes they don't care to have the newest, so they'll use the new one and use that equity towards something else, or to sell it and get that money back. So
yeah, that makes sense. No, I appreciate it. I'll probably just stay in touch with you. I'll be honest, I'm not in a complete rush to get it. It was more or less, I was talking to David. I told him I was in the market for these. He's like, yeah, he's like, I'll connect you with somebody, and that's pretty much it. So I was just still weighing my options. I'm like, you know what? If I can wait 6 months and just get it from an AD, then it is what it is. I didn't realize that much of a spread. Like I said, I was probably going to be willing to spend a bit over the MSRP, and I would have been cool with that. But obviously, we're talking like over $6,000.
That's totally fine. Obviously, I mean, the best of luck to you. More than likely, if you haven't bought other stuff from the ADs, this is just from my experience and what people have told me. If you haven't already bought some other stuff that's more than likely goes under MSRP, then they're gonna offer you that beforehand before they even try and offer you the one you want. Usually I see them offer like maybe like 3 to 5 watches before they even offer you the one you want. And yeah, I mean, you know how the game is. They want to. I've heard this from the mouths of salesmen and managers that they play the game to see how deep your pockets are, and they want to go with the people. I totally get it, and I know you know this market far better than I do. At some point, I'm probably going to have to make the decision and make the leap and just get something. So I totally understand that. I'll kind of play it by ear, and I got your number, and I'll definitely be in touch. Hey, Andrew.
Hey, Jonathan.
I will come down and meet y'all.
Okay, sweet. Sounds good. All right, here we go. We're gonna go deliver his 5712 1A. Get him all sized up and ready to go. This is one of my really, really good clients, really long-term clients. He's so excited to get this piece. He's gonna finally have the Holy Trinity, which is really, really cool. He just bought a perpetual calendar Vastron from me, the ultra thin, about a month and a half ago. So he's really excited about this one. He really wanted to come to the store, but he's like, my gosh, I just can't seem to get out of meetings all day. I don't want to keep waiting. If there's any way you come bring it, let's do it. And I was like, all right, let's do it. So we're here. We just left my client's house. Thank you so much for inviting us into your home. You should have seen his smile when Like, as soon as he opened that 5712, his smile was so big. He loved that watch. He was wearing the perpetual calendar that I sold him a month and a half ago, and his collection is really coming together, so I'm really excited for him. And he thinks his next watch is the World Timer by Patek, so we'll see if that happens. But thank you very much. You know who you are, and we love doing business with you. Thank you for supporting WOLVYN, and let me know if I can help with anything else.
Well, guys, welcome to this week's midweek unboxing here at WOLVYN. We've got a good little shipment from in today, so we figured we'd stop and do one of these unboxings. So let's start with the first one. Andrew, I don't know if you want to do this one. Oh, and every week we let you guys know about what knife we're using. So this is the Microtech Boba Fett. It's made to look like Boba Fett color scheme.
So the first box is a Rolex, I can see from the box itself. Actually, this is a pretty cool one because Christian stayed really late Monday night because he had a client trying to secure this watch because he just had a hunch that this watch was no longer. And sure enough, the next morning, it was no longer. So he got in for the Yachtmaster 2. He got a 2023, brand new, full set. So congrats on that.
In lieu of the discontinuation, we got to rock the Yachtmaster 2 today. Sad that this beautiful boy is gone. I know that this one is kind of polarizing. Some people don't like the white dial. I don't know, when I first got into Rolex and this was announced at Baselworld back in the day, I just remember this was just a baller watch. I remember seeing it everywhere on all the magazines. ADs were passing it out, and it was like the one that was on the cover for so many months and probably years, honestly. So to me, it has a special place in my heart. It's like saying goodbye to a good long lost friend. So see you later, Yachtmaster 2.
That was one of the most classic Rolexes that you would see alongside with the two-tone bluesy in magazines and on billboards and stuff.
That's right.
It's just crazy.
Well, I unboxed this AP, but I'm gonna save this one for last. So I'm gonna set this aside and open something else. But you can tell by the size of this that it's something quite special, but let's wait on that. See what we got here. This person knows how to pack a box.
Two of them.
The beloved peanuts. Thankfully, there's several boxes in this, so there's not too many peanuts in here. Let's take this one out first. We got a ladies' Datejust chocolate with an RBR bezel, factory diamond bezel, diamond dial. For you ladies out there that like a small watch and some bling, this is the watch for you. It's two-tone rose gold, really, really nice. This one's 2019.
Beautiful, look at this. This is also super cool, and we're taking this on trade. We got a 116-500 LN, open date, brand new, unworn condition, black. So if you're looking for the Daytona, you're not the biggest fan of the new reference, this is the piece for you. It's brand new, unworn, unsized, full complete box set. It's got the white tag, it's got the green tag, it's got all the paperwork, it's an open date card, and it's a new style card. So this is the creme de la creme of collectible pieces if that's what you want to do, or if you just want the best, you have to have an unworn one, this is the one for you.
Speaking of classic pieces, 126-333. Champagne dial. This is in phenomenal condition. This person really, really took care of his watches. It's the same person that brought in the 28mm chocolate. These pieces are seriously hardly worn.
If they are.
If they are, like.
They look brand new.
That.
Yeah, that looks brand new almost.
Check out that clasp. It's crisp. Everything's crisp on this watch. 41mm.
All right, guys, and then I have a 2023, June 2023 card. It has also, let's see, does it have the white tag? I'm not seeing the white tag, but it has the green hang tag. Sometimes these ADs don't like to put the white tag in to make them less resellable. But regardless, we have this almost brand new condition. Yachtmaster 40 with the blue dial and that red hand. Beautiful, beautiful piece. Platinum bezel for you guys that don't know. These watches are all stainless with the platinum bezel. And then that blue with the red is such a fun pop of color. That blue really pops out in the sun. So really cool summer watch for you guys that like going on a boat. Things of that nature, perfect watch for you.
Somebody asked what's your take on two-tone?
So two-tone, I haven't been wearing a lot of two-tone myself. I know that but I'm also super spoiled. So take my initial thoughts with a grain of salt. I haven't been wearing a lot of two-tone lately, but I will say that I really enjoy specific watches two-tone, and I think the ones that I like more are more the classic colors, like a black dial, or like, I really enjoy the two-tone sky with a black dial. That's one of my favorites. The two-tone black dial Jubilee bracelet. Datejust is another one that I think looks really good. I really like the root beers in two-tone rose gold. And I also really love the new GRNR, which is a new style GMT with that black and gray bezel. I think that watch was extremely well executed, and that's a watch that I would wear two-tone. Watches that I'm not the biggest fan of anymore, or that it would have to go with a very specific outfit, are like the bluesy. With that blue being so pronounced with the bezel and with the dial, I think that, you know, if I'm wearing a green shirt or if I'm wearing something like that, you obviously can't wear that watch, and I think that's the problem. Now, I know that I wore all black, but I just think that I'm more in that like sporty type mode, and to me, that bluesy gives off more of a dress vibe. I don't know if I'm wrong about that, but it just gives more of a dressy vibe because that blue's so royal. So I don't know, it just takes it to another level. If I'm gonna wear a dress watch, I'd rather just wear a dress watch. And I'll wear a dress watch with things like what I'm wearing with, even if it's a Patek. I mean, I know that a lot of celebrities are doing that. Like I know Ed Sheeran will wear a dress watch and he's wearing a t-shirt. I know that's kind of like the new style. I'll do that too with like a hoodie. But when it comes to that bluesy, I don't know, if it were like one of my pieces in the collection, I think I could deal with it. But I think that if I'm gonna go two-tone, I'd rather go with more of a classic color, like a black, maybe even a white, depending on the watch. But the Sky Dweller two-tone, I think, is probably my favorite on that list.
Josh is wearing look at his ring, his watch, my ring, and bracelet. We're literally opposites right now. but two-tone, if you didn't like that 41mm Datejust in two-tone, and you wanted a bigger watch, you can go with the two-tone Sky Dweller Champagne dial. Again, this watch is extremely crisp. It's from 2021. Full set, white tag, everything. All the links are there. Super crisp. There's a little bit of smudging there, but.
Speaking of, if you guys have seen the new release, the new 336-938 with the Jubilee bracelet, all gold, solid gold. So the new solid gold Jubilee bracelet Sky with the champagne dial, I think that's one of my new favorites. That thing is sick. It has that very presidential vibe, and for us big boys, or you tall boys, I think that one's gonna be a perfect solution for you. And then it's Rolex's most complicated movement, so I think that part of it is awesome. Go ahead, I'll let you do this one, and then I'm gonna start opening this guy up. I love when you get even all the sleeves and stuff with it, because it just makes it so much better for our clients when it's a full set like that.
Derek was stressing over this last night.
We got this out at 8:16 p.m. New York time, just in time. Somehow they made it to cutoff. This dealer was really nice and got it out. We had a client that came in yesterday and we could not find this watch for the life of us for a good price. We finally found a reasonable price, one that the client was happy with. And we made it just honestly, we had to come down on our margin on it, but the point was to make the client happy. And we got it out at 8:16 p.m. just in time for the client to come pick it up today because they're going out of town. So I love when we can accomplish things like that because that's what we're all about here. We're all about making making the buying experience for our clients the easiest and best. And so we were here late. We closed at 6. We were here late trying to get that watch out. We finally got it out and it's here. So that puts a smile on my face.
For those of you that don't know, this is the two-tone 126233 olive dial with the diamonds in Roman numerals at 6 and 9 o'clock.
Beautiful
this one
watch.
Is brand new, complete set.
2024.
2024, white tag and everything, Derek.
Yeah.
But last but not least, definitely not least, we're getting in this watch on trade. The gentleman's gonna be buying 3 huge watches. He just bought 2 watches from us as well. But that's this beautiful Audemars Piguet 26574 PT. That means platinum, limited of 50 pieces in the world. It's got that gorgeous icy blue dial, all in platinum, so it's super bright, super white metal. It just looks stunning in person, and you get to be one of the 50 people in the world to have that piece. I think the box alone for this goes for about $6,000 to $8,000 if you can find it. So it's super cool that this comes as a complete set. We've actually had this watch before. The gentleman enjoyed it, but he just wanted to get a couple watches that he's always wanted, and he wanted to use the funds of this to go towards those 3. So can't fault the guy. The 3 watches he's looking at are pretty big. I guess he wants to expand the collection. The other watches he's looking at are the 5980 1R, full bracelet Nautilus. He's gonna look at the 15407 ST, which is the skeletonized AP. And then the last one, I believe, is the 5270P, which is the platinum perpetual calendar flyback chronograph from Patek with the salmon dial. So he's definitely diversifying that collection a bit more. And you know, as sad as he was to let go of this, because he really loved this watch, he was just ready to move on to 3 more pieces. So can't fault him for that, but whoever is gonna pick this up, this is a nice big boy. I mean, it doesn't even have all the links in it, and it weighs a good amount. I say this to clients, there's 2 types of luxury. You'll get like and I use these 2 categories as an example. Lexus, it has more of that like Japanese luxury, which is they associate with light and feathery. That's why when you get a Lexus, the leather even seems thinner and things of that nature, and the cars are more lightweight and airy. Versus like Mercedes, Rolls-Royce, the idea of luxury there is hefty, woody, metals, and just heavy, rich, opulent. And so with platinum pieces, that just kind of gives me that kind of opulent, over-the-top vibe, which I think is such a suitable thing for the right individual who looks for that. Now there's other guys who like more of the light and airy, and I can appreciate that, especially with some of the RMs. But I think that in general, I really like to lean towards some of the heavier boys. It just lets me know that something's there on my wrist. And especially with the money you pay for some of these things, I just like to be reminded that it's there. So anyways, guys, this is this week's unboxing. If you're interested in any of these pieces, give us a shout. We're excited to have this in inventory, excited to have it here to show you guys. But other than that, guys, we'll see you guys the next unboxing. Thanks for signing on.
All right, guys, so Dami came in yesterday with Yetzi, his wife, and he's buying her a gift watch. They were looking for the Cartier Santos. They knew what they were looking for, so they came in, and specifically I showed them, we had 2 medium white dial Santos, all stainless, and then we also had a 2-tone. So they were looking at each one and ended up going with the stainless. I was able to get them a great deal on one of them. So he's got the original bag, the WOLVYN bag, because we always give you guys the best WOLVYN experience that we possibly can. And he's here to pick it up today. Yetzi didn't come with him, but I'm excited for him to get this to her because I think she's gonna love it. All right, Dami, you ready? Come this way, come to my desk. We wrap it up for you, man. We make it nice. You can open it today if you like. Most of my clients do. It's like a holiday. This is the original bag, and there is the receipt that we showed you. Yeah. Okay. So this is the receipt. And the original bag, like we talked about right here, with the original receipt form and the original receipt, all here, just like we talked about, right? And then, so that's kind of your peace of mind that you talked about. That's gonna be here at the bottom of the bag. And then in here, got it all wrapped up for you. This is the watch. Yes, please do. Rip it open, man. We make it pretty, but you can rip it open. You said you're still in the country for what, like 30 more days before going back to UK?
Yeah, I'm here for like another 5 weeks.
Cool, yeah. You enjoying it so far, the trip?
It's alright.
It's alright? Yeah. So we left it the way that it was,
okay.
And so your extra links here, just like we described to you, yeah. And then this is your links pouch here. Yeah, so these will still be waiting for you here. And then if you ever resize it or anything, you can join those links to this.
Okay.
Or vice versa. If you need it bigger, put those on it. And then card is in here. Your brown leather strap is in here too. Mm-hmm. And this thing is perfect condition, man. Yeah. And then you also have your Cartier tool.
It's good.
Yeah, it looks good, man.
It does, eh?
Okay, so who's gonna wear it more? You made it sound like she might wear it too.
It does, bro.
Yeah, but you like it, don't you? Congratulations.
All right, guys, it's no news that as we're navigating the gray market that we have to deal with a lot of watches that are mass produced, things like Rolex, APs and Pateks. And you know, as much as we love them and those brands do hold a special place in our heart, sometimes, especially in the monotony of all of it, the luster kind of goes away a little bit for me because I see them so often. And look, there's Pateks I still fall in love with. There's Rolexes. I just put on a Panda today for the first time in a while, and I was like, man, I love this watch. And there's a lot of watches that, you know, just because of the business that we're in, that again, it's just like, it just kind of loses luster over the years. And so there's a couple of brands that we really don't get to dabble in. So when we get to have them here in the store and have them into inventory, it helps me to fall in love again with horology and with watches in general, and really just pays tribute to what timepieces are in the first place. And it kind of takes it back to an era where watchmaking was way more about the mechanical movements and way more about the artistry of the craftsman, being able to work with tiny little tools to make these elaborate and beautifully crafted machines that told time. And so today I wanted to take the time to talk about two pieces, and particularly two pieces that are from two brands that are considered independent. Both of these brands, I believe, make less than 1,000 pieces a year, correct? I was a little concerned about Journe because I know they just got bought out, but regardless, I still think they're making about 1,000 pieces or less. MB&F makes, I think, no more than like 250. I know I was talking to a client of mine who visited in Geneva and went to talk to the guys over at MB&F, and they said they're about doing 250 pieces. They've got a wait list of way more than that. They try to do about 350. They're on track to do maybe a little bit more, but so far they've been making about 250 pieces a year, which is insane. And I know I've given away a little bit about it. So we're looking at an MB&F and we're looking at an FP Journe, two brands that are amazing, two companies that I think both people worked for other brands and they went out and did their own thing. It's kind of cool what happens when you get the engineers or you get the craftsmen and they're like, you know what, I don't want to work for somebody and create something they've designed. I want to create and let my creativity just go and run wild with it. And so that means a lot to us. We're both kind of musicians, Derek especially. And so when you get to just create music and do stuff, it's so much more fun than when you're part of like something where you have to practice for, or even like a recital that you're forced to do. It's way more fun to be able to do it on your own. That's where you get a lot of the best music from.
Yeah,
and
being
so,
able to just create something yourself is a feeling that's like unlike anything else, because it comes out in the end and it's like, this is my baby. So for these two creators to go off and make their own brands and focus just on the exquisite pieces that they wanted to make is pretty dang cool. It's
really, really cool. So I'm gonna start off with this piece right here, because this thing is quite literally one of the most beautiful watches I've ever seen. And most MB&Fs are gonna come in this kind of display. I really like it because it's something where you can open it up. Honestly, you could be at your desk and kind of open it up and have like a table clock, which is pretty cool. So you can definitely enjoy it. But we got, guys, the MB&F LM101. This is a piece that MB&F came out with that just really went back to kind of the simplicity. You know, when I first kind of saw MB&F was really when Instagram took off. I mean, I'm pretty young to the watch game, guys. I'm 34 years old, so I kind of got in it a little bit back. I think I really started seeing most of watches on Instagram in 2016-ish, maybe a little earlier. Before that, it was all the catalogs of Rolex and things of that nature. But I remember MB&F made a splash with Instagram because the watches they were creating were like nothing else. They were traditional in their art and the way that they were created, but they were super modern in their design and their aesthetic. And that's kind of what drew me to MB&F. At the time, I really liked modern design. At the time I was an interior decorator and an interior designer, and we did a lot of design build jobs. So I was doing a lot of modern kitchens, modern homes, things like that. So modern just really went with me at the time, and it was something I really liked. And I could still really appreciate this stuff. MB&F does a good job of creating something that's traditional but also timeless at the same time, even though it is modern. And so guys, let me pull this out first off. So this is not just an MB&F LM101. This is actually a piece that is limited to 18 pieces. That's right, only 18. They made two different variations of this. This is the frosted model. And so what that means is they actually use the back plate of the movement for the dial. So whatever you're looking at in the background, that's actually the back plate of the movement. It's not a dial. And what they do is that you would see a lot of frosted finishes in older watches back in the day, really in the movement or in different parts of the movement. You didn't really see it on dials. And so this is really one of the first pieces. I can't really think of another piece off the top of my head that has a frosted dial like this. I know that the new John Mayer AP kind of has that kind of crystallized texture, but it's completely different. This is really more of like the AP frosted, but it's done a little bit differently. The AP frosted is more coarse. This is more fine. It's beautiful. And this watch is adorned in 18 karat gold, which this is actually the first, I believe, yellow gold piece that MB&F does. They've not done yellow gold before. They've done, you know, stainless steels, white golds, platinums, rose golds, but this is really I think this is the first model they've done in yellow gold. And for those guys who really care, this is a 40 millimeter case dimension. So it's one of the smaller MB&Fs, but because of the height of the way that that crystal curves like that, I think it's 16 millimeters at the thickest point, which is actually pretty thick considering, but because it tapers down, it's not a monstrosity, but it definitely has a wrist presence. And so if you kind of like that balance of a smaller dial, but you want a little bit more presence, this is the perfect piece for you. And obviously one of the most standout things about this watch is obviously that suspended balance wheel that has that architectural curve that goes up right asymmetrical on the dial. That's a 14 millimeter big balance wheel, which is ginormous by watchmaking like standards. Usually you don't see that. Usually I think they're like 5 to 6 millimeters, maybe a little bit bigger than that sometimes, but 14 millimeters, that's pretty insane. So it's really cool that you get to see that. And honestly, you guys came for, you know, we love to stare at these things. And so this thing does have a power reserve indicator. It's 40 hours of power reserve here at the 6 o'clock. You also get the time here asymmetrically at between 2 and 3. And then you obviously have that suspended balance wheel, which is just incredible. So let me wind this real quick so you guys kind of get to see how this beauty works.
I love that the back of the movement showing through frosted yellow gold simplifies the look of the background just of the dial, or really the back of the movement of the watch. But then on top of that, there's such intricate complexity
100%.
with the balance wheel, so it's like this contrast of super minimal but not minimal at the same time. Personally, I love that.
I love it. And honestly, because people usually don't like asymmetrical dials, and I'd say I'm probably usually one of them, although I do like complications, but the way that they did the frosted, if it was a plain dial, I think it would just be, it would be kind of weird. It'd be too competing if it was like a different color. But the fact that they use, I think, the back plate, frosted it all just works harmoniously together to really create a really interesting dial in general. Because technically it's not a dial, the dials are these two dials.
Right.
This is the actual dial. Yeah. Again, that's the back plate of the movement back here. And just so you guys can appreciate, like I said, MB&F really tries to go for that really traditional. So they do a lot of really curved back plates and different bridges and things of that nature to really make it look more traditional. And they also went ahead and used 18 karat yellow gold to beautifully balance with the rest of the movement. So this whole thing is 18 karat yellow gold, and it's just amazing. And again, I winded this thing so you guys could see it, but just look how mesmerizing that balance wheel is on that dial. Imagine being able to put this in your little display, sitting at your desk at work. I don't think you're gonna get any work done, so maybe it's good that you don't take this to work with you, because
it's a work of art in and of itself.
Yeah, productivity is gonna be at an all-time low. Yeah. But this piece is beautiful. It comes on a tang buckle. It does come with a brown alligator strap. I'll be honest with you, that's the only thing I really don't like about this particular thing, but it is very dressy. And I think what we're doing actually is we're gonna have our buddy over at Aaron Bespoke, he's making a Himalayan white alligator strap. So I think that's really gonna balance it out. We'll have to throw in some shots of that for you guys on Instagram or something once we get it done. But guys, this is a beautiful piece from a company that only makes 250 to 350 watches in a year. And this is one of 18 pieces in the world. This is really, really a unique opportunity to own something that I don't think you're ever gonna see somebody else on their wrist with. So if you want something like that, this is definitely a beautiful piece. I will mention, if you think 40 millimeters is a little bit too big for you, it does have very curved lugs. So this is gonna hug a 6-inch wrist really nicely. I think there's a watch that works even up to an 8-inch wrist because of the height of the overall dimensions of the case with the sapphire, again, 16 millimeters. So this is a watch that's very versatile for a lot of wrists. Obviously the strap articulates pretty well. The straps don't really intrude into the arms, so it's not gonna be uncomfortable if you have a bigger wrist. I've put this thing on and I love it. I honestly wish I could take this home, but we've got a company to run, so this is for sale on the website moving forward.
And if you're looking for a watch that is maybe not quite as, I should say, exquisitely fancy as this one, but one that is still classy, iconic, and beautiful dress watch, then you might be looking at something like this. What we're looking at here is the FP Journe Chronometer Blue, or Chronomètre Bleu. And this watch right here, it's pretty impressive what it's done over the last almost 2 decades now, because it was originally released in 2009 and it's been climbing ever since. Super popular watch now, and even though it's kind of an entry-level watch for FP Journe, it's actually kind of stood out as one of their more iconic level watches for dress watches.
It's honestly, it's crazy because the retail price is not that high, but it's one of the most collectible pieces they make.
Yeah.
Any of the Journe collectors, it's like a staple. I don't want to compare it to like a Submariner in the Rolex lineup,
right,
because that would be a disservice.
Yeah, it's a disservice.
But it is one of those watches where if you have a Journe collection, you have a chronometric blue.
Yeah.
Whether it's in blue or whether it's like the white with the what do they call it? It's the CS models.
Yes.
And so they have the platinums, they have the different colors. So there's usually one of those in the collection, but I've honestly seen that most of the guys are, and I'm sorry to take your thunder, but they're going towards the chronometric blue, which
they are.
It's just stunning.
Yeah, this watch, first off, just to talk about the material, this is blue-gray tantalum. So instead of coming out with something that's like platinum or white gold, this is not going to be quite as heavy as platinum, but it's going to be more corrosion resistant than, say, something like white gold. I appreciate as well that FP Journe made sure that they made a matching tang buckle clasp that's going to go really well, high polish all the way through with the case. So it's matching both ways, just great attention to detail there. So this particular watch, one thing that I personally appreciate about it, because I've got about a 16-centimeter wrist, and it lays really, really flush on the wrist, partly because of the design with the lugs. So the lug width from lug to lug is not super large compared to some other options out there in the dress watch market, and basically the lugs themselves also taper down really sharply. You can see right here as I pull the straps down, it's a sharp curve, and that lets it hug my wrist really well. Plus, the thinner profile of this watch is super sleek, so when I'm wearing this watch, eventually I'm gonna kind of feel like I've forgotten it's there in the sense of comfort, but then I look down and I see something beautiful on my wrist whenever I notice it. And that is one of my favorite things to see in a dress watch. Comfort and gorgeous, all in the same. This particular strap that we put on the watch right here, this is from one of our friends at Aaron Bespoke as well, but you can get the original FP Journe blue gator strap that comes with it as well and matches the dial extremely well. Both are designed similarly, and we put this yellow one on it just to show that you can make it a bit sporty if you wanted to, and have some fun with it and play with the colors. I think it pops really, really well.
I'm glad you said that, because I know it's considered a dress watch, but I think that with the tantalum and being that you can explore with the different color straps, that is something you can put on a Sunday with just a button-up shirt, or even with the polo, or honestly even with the t-shirt and some jeans and some nice sneakers, or even some nice loafers or something. Such a fantastic look, for sure.
Agreed. I think you could wear it with a lot and just have fun with the straps.
Absolutely.
And the original FP Journe blue strap is, the nice thing about it, it's gator strap, but it's going to be gator on both sides, just like this one, and it's going to be the larger scales on top, right? That's for the aesthetic. Smaller scales on the bottom, and it makes it, with gator on both sides, makes it super durable with that stitching going through. Great strap, and you don't have to worry about it falling apart. It even has, if you come in close here, it's got these spring release pins on each side just for convenience, for taking the straps on and off. Makes it very easy. And even just for cleaning the watch, if you don't want to change the straps, you just want to clean it out, it makes it very convenient, a lot easier. Going back to the dial of this watch. So it might be easy to think right when looking at the watch, oh, that's, you know, white accents, white hour markers, white hands, but this is not white. This is a beautiful kind of off-white cream. I've heard people describe it as like an eggnog look, and I think that's very tasteful from FP Journe because it softens the look just a little bit. And again, for dressiness, I mean, it's perfect. It takes that bright contrast and just softens it just slightly.
It's like this extra level of finesse.
Yeah, exactly. And the blue dial has, to me, I don't know how you would describe it, Josh, but to me, there's almost like a light hue of green to it. It's a very lacquer, shiny, beautiful appearance, but the actual dial itself contrasts even with the sub-dial just slightly because there's like this green hue, and the sub-dial is like a true blue, and the sub-dial with the seconds hand going there. How would you describe your take on that dial?
I mean, that dial, so it changes. I mean, I see, like, think about your pool. That's so fresh on my mind because I'm actually replastering my pool.
Yeah.
And we're trying to choose, trying to choose watercolors and what we want to go. But honestly, it's a perfect way to segue into this because it depends on the way the light hits it. It can look baby blue, it can look greenish. Depending on what it's reflecting off of, it could look a different color. It mirrors what it's reflecting, but it's blue and it's kind of got this in between of a lacquer. It's like no other dial before. I know we've said Vacheron has the best blue. They definitely have one of the most striking blues. It's rich, it's very nice, but this, it's like if you want more dimension out of the dial, if you like the reflections, you like being, it just plays with the light so much differently than the Vacheron. I'm really struggling now. I know we've said Vacheron has the best blue dial, but I'm really strongly leaning this way. But
it's amazing.
This dial is like nothing else. If you're in the Dallas or DFW Metroplex, or if you're anywhere within a short driving distance, I definitely recommend come see us and come see this watch because TV, YouTube is not going to do this thing justice.
Yeah, and another amazing, just on the point of finesse, another amazing detail that FP Journe did when he was designing the dial versus the subdial is that the subdial has concentric circular graining in it. It's really beautiful because with the lacquer dial, it captures its own hues like we were talking about, but then the subdial also throws in its own texture and gives itself its own pop. The case itself has a slightly domed sapphire and it does have a domed bezel. Everything's high polish with some indentation of the center of the case with the bottom of the bezel and the tip of the case back, which again to me just creates like an artistic accent to the sides of the case that I love. It's got the classic double nipple FP Journe crown with the beautiful texture around the actual winding part of the crown. Yeah, it's gorgeous. Here's one of my favorite parts about this watch. This is me personally because I think I've already said this on our episodes, but I am biased to rose gold. If you come take a look at this 1304 movement for FP Journe, instead of using yellow gold like most movements would, this entire movement, all of the plating you can see is rose gold. And I love that. This is a 22 jewel, 56-hour power reserve movement. Caliber
56 hours?
56 hours.
Wow, that's good.
And it's the caliber 1304. It's really great for a dress watch, especially of this sleek profile. To me, I could stare at the back of this for a long, long time.
Wear it upside down like Caleb always says.
Yeah, just wear it upside down so everybody can see it. And the inscriptions around the outside of the case are beautiful to me. It's a great touch, but the actual movement itself, and I would go exhibition case back on any dress watch all day. That is my 100% preference. But I could stare at it for a long time just with the different textures. It's gorgeous.
Definitely.
So this watch right here, if you are looking for a classic, beautiful, subtle, and yet exquisite, it shows the finesse, dress watch, then you might be looking to fall in love with the FP Journe Chronomètre Blue.
And guys, as always, both of these watches are available on our website, www.wolvyn.com. For the LM101, we are asking $112,000. Again, it's limited to 18 pieces. And then for the Chronomètre Blue, we are asking, I believe, $85,000.
Yeah.
And it comes as both come as full sets with everything. The Chronomètre Blue I know has the Aaron Bespoke strap, it has a brown strap, and it also has two blue straps, one that's been used and one that is completely brand new unworn. So you'll be able to have a lot of fun. And then I'm sure you can contact our buddy over at Aaron Bespoke. He'd be happy to make any color strap for you.
Yeah.
And I think you can have a lot of fun with this piece. Thanks for stopping by for this review of these two amazing independents.
Yeah, come check us out.